Welcome to another episode of Josh and Kelly.
We are continuing the truck build, but we are getting a lot done this week, and it's going to be a lot more complete looking by the time we're done. We are working on finalizing things up here. We got the fridge.
I'm sitting where the fridge is. I'm in the fridge space.
So we got a much better fridge, much bigger. Are you happy with this fridge?
Way happier. Much more happier.
We got a much better fridge. And
happy wife, happy life.
so we got a much better fridge. It's going to go in there. We're going to finalize this cabinet, and then we're going to, the rest of today is plan out this section here, which is going to be basically the galley, the kitchen area. So we're going to plan that, because this is going to be the most complicated out of everything in here in terms of the systems that are in place, I guess commingled, you might say, in this area. We're going to have electrical in this area. We're going to have our heating in this area. We're going to have our hot water in this area. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So we're going to make sure that all fits where it's supposed to and how it's supposed to, and kind of go from there today. But yeah, by the end of this week, by the end of this video, it should be a very dramatic difference from how it is now. So we're looking forward to that.
Exciting.
Well, good morning. It's a cold, drizzly, snowy kind of day. It's just hovering around freezing, so it doesn't know what it wants to do. One minute it turns to sleet, the next minute it's snow, and then back to sleet, then to rain. But you can see there's icicles here hanging off of the space cap. So I'm gonna have to get the heater going in there and warm things up so we can work. But yeah, another one of those days. Okay, heater's been going in here for a little while, so it's reasonable. And one of the things I was going to do today was going to finish the storage that goes here, the shelves. I was going to put the front faces on them and all that. However, when I looked at the panels this morning, they've been drying overnight because I painted them yesterday. I looked at the panels this morning and they needed another coat. So I gave them a quick second coat, put them inside to dry again, and so that may have to wait till tomorrow before we can actually do that. Is what it is. So I've got a couple other things I'm going to be doing. One is I'm going to be putting the latch onto here. I wasn't able to do it because I needed a couple of spacer blocks, but I wanted to paint them first. I had to paint them again yesterday, and they had to dry overnight. So I've got them today. I'm going to put them in there and get that latch going. So this is all finalized then. And the other thing is I might start some of the plumbing, getting the main water line out from the tank to where it's going to go. But in some ways I'm a little bit limited today in what I can do because it is so wet and cold outside. It's very difficult to be out there cutting anything because everything's just soaked and wet. There's still snow and ice on the ground and that kind of thing. Plus it's still kind of raining and sleeting and snowing. So it's a little difficult to be out there cutting things and doing that. So I'll get busy with what I can on the inside today, and hopefully tomorrow will be a better day for working outside. Done. Kelly's trying to catch me in all these weird confined spaces because it's not easy getting into some of these. And this happens to be where our fridge is going to go, and it's not here yet, and the cupboard's not there, so I can kind of squeeze back in here. But yeah, they can be some tight spaces for sure. But we've just put up a, you can just see it along here. So this is a piece that's covering the join, and then we're going to try and get rid of the gaps by putting a bit of tape in there, VHB tape, to make sure the steel sticks to it and all that, so there's no gaps. And then on top of this is where we're going to run our lighting strip. So it's kind of serving a dual purpose in that sense. But yeah, we should do that and have lights. It'd be nice. So Kelly's trying to put the tape up there so that the headliner attaches to the piece we've just put in to try and minimize any gaps and cracks and all that kind of thing. So hardest bit is getting it to push down onto there to stick.
Okay, so it's camera, action. Now you got to do the lights. We're saying it backwards. Yay!
Lights. We got colors. Kelly, what about Christmas lights? I'll put Christmas lights for her.
Wasn't that nice of Josh to help me decorate the truck for Christmas? We could even do strobe if we wanted.
Yeah. And
Woo
all
woo.
kinds of different things and designs and flashing. And, if you're an epileptic, then look away. So we are just cleaning up. We've had a very busy day and productive. You can see there's the sink, the hot water heater when the jacker's here. So we've been putting some things in place, trying to figure out exact distances and configurations and that kind of stuff. So we got that done. I don't know if Kelly's completely happy with it all, but all this stuff stresses her out and kind of blows her mind a little bit. And then when it's all done, she's like, oh, okay, I get it, it works. Yes. So,
True story.
But we've got all the doors and latches on there. We've got the fridge in place, all set, ready to go. So this whole front from side to side is now done and ready to be used. Everything is fixed, everything is in place, and it's all good. And that makes me happy. Does that make you happy?
I'm happy.
Especially because Kelly's got a very big space for storage, all her own. She's already calling it her space.
He keeps telling me that how big it is. Open up that cabinet
Let's
and
have a
show
look.
them.
So this.
I had a lot more space in the van.
Okay, here you hold this and you show. So this is her spot, right? This is similar in size, this direction, as to what the cabinets were that we had in the van, the upper cabinets. So it's a very similar size. It's deep. Well, I'm going to show you how deep it is. I'm going to stick my arm in there.
I'm not sure how to film that.
Now I'm touching the back. That's how deep it is. That whole length of my arm from here down. That's how deep it is. That's a huge storage space. Just for beauty and cosmetics and lotions and potions.
Let's just say I'm not 100% convinced.
She's not, but I'm telling you, it is a big, big space. It's a very big space. So, yeah. She has all that just for her.
Thank you, Josh.
None of it is for me or for what my stuff is doing. I've got 2 drawers. That's it.
I have 2 drawers too.
She's got 2 drawers as well. Yes.
That's for clothing, though.
Yeah. It's for everything for me, but yes, it's just for... Because Kelly's so much bigger than I am, her clothes take up so much more space, and so she needs more space. Evidently, that's how things work. All right, good morning. We're back at it again today. My goal one of the things I'm hoping to do today is to get the heater started. Out of everything in here, that is the most complicated. It has, if I showed you all the cables and wires and connections with that, it's not simple. And I've got to figure that out. I've been spending a little bit of time this morning trying to read instructions and all that, and there's nothing specific in there about instructions about this goes to that, this plugs in here, this is what this is for. I got to kind of figure all that out on my own, which could be fun. I think I have figured out where it connects into the control piece, where it connects into the heater itself, where the power is, but there's still 3 or 4 other plugs that I don't know what they're for. They might be for sensors of some sort, like an exterior thermometer. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try and do more research and figure that out. But in the meantime, my goal is to try and get the place where it's going to be mounted here on the shelf done today, so that's my starting position, so that I can then figure everything else out from there and start to build the box that's going to go here, that's going to house the exhaust and stuff as it goes out, because that needs to be a sealed unit, so that exhaust can't come into the back here, into the living area. So yeah, that's a pretty big task and a pretty important thing. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do today. I have no idea how much I'm going to get done, but nothing like getting started now. Okay, I have just cut the access panel for the heater. So this is the actual mount that the heater goes on. And I've cut a hole for it, but I left enough on the sides for the screws to actually screw into the firm foundation of this plywood. And then underneath, I've cut out all the way back to the fiberglass and around all the insulation and everything, because I'm going to put a little box insert in here that's going to then seal everything up, because there's going to be, from this point underneath the heater going out, is going to be this exhaust pipe, and there's a potential for exhaust leak with any sort of exhaust pipe you're going to have like that. So I want to put a sealed box around it so that if there's any potential exhaust leak, it's going to go back out again and not come into the living compartment. So that's what I've just done. I've just cut all that, and yeah, it may be time to mount the plate up top and then build the box. Well, hello. I know it's kind of dark. I'm just going to get a little light on the subject here. I want to kind of show what I've been up to today. It's been a long day, and in some ways it's been productive. In other ways it hasn't, as always. So let me show you some of the productive things that I've done. First thing is, this is our heater. It is in place. All the things are connected down below. So we have the exhaust line, we have the fuel line in, and we have the air line in. So they're in place. This is the actual power for the pump. It's actually separate. That was part of my confusion earlier. Long story, but there's been no installation instructions with this unit. So what I've been doing is going off of what I know from the Webasto we had in the van, and they're similar, but this is an S-bar, that was a Webasto, so there's some wiring differences, and that's what I'm having fun with at the moment, is all the wiring differences. Otherwise this would have been in like 3 hours ago. But I think I finally figured it out, because what I'm doing is I actually have the technical drawings for it. No instructions, but the technical drawings. And so I'm using those technical drawings to figure out what goes where, and then figuring out in my own head what process that needs to be, and where in the installation number of steps that needs to go as well. So that's all fun. But the other thing is, I've been working on this today. So this space has got to be sealed, because this is an active exhaust line and it has a potential to leak, and we don't need that coming into the living area. So what I've been working on is a box that fits right in here. We just seal it in, and then it's all sealed. And I made a box right here. So this is the box I made. It's a nice box. It's a sturdy box. It's completely sealed. I was just going to paint the inside with some high heat paint to withstand the heat from the exhaust. And I went to go and put this in place, and it doesn't fit. Well, it fits on the inside, but this is the issue. The inside part here, right? So along this edge and all that there, all of that on the inside is actually larger in diameter than the opening. So while the box fits in there, it doesn't fit through the opening. So what I'm having to do is I had to go through and I used some gap filler foam to fill in all the gaps so that it would be airtight back there. And then I'm having to build a box in place. So I've got some wood here already cut and pre-drilled with screws and all that. So I'm gonna have to put them in place, then screw them in place, then paint them in place, and then put the piece of plywood on the back that's already pre-painted into place, and then screw it in place to get an actual seal on this, so so that it will actually be airtight. It's not ideal, but it is all we've got, so it's what we have to work with. And once it's in place, once it's screwed in place, and all that and sealed, hopefully it will never have to move. If we have to service the heater, it unscrews from the top and then this lifts up and out so I can undo everything and gain access to things. So I'm hoping once it's in place, it's a permanent thing, so I can literally seal it in place, probably with some 4200 sealant, so that it is in place and it never has to come out again. And then this is an airtight junction there where the exhaust comes in. But that's for tomorrow. Tonight, I get the fun bit of figuring out all of this wiring. So there's 2 different wiring harnesses here, and they interact with each other and they connect with each other, but they're also, to some degree, independent of each other. So I've got to figure out what goes with what connections need to be, because I've looked at some of the connections and you have to do a lot of your own wiring, and the type of wiring connection that they have is very fiddly and complicated. So I've got a simpler system that I'm going to use instead. So I got to go and wire all that in preparation for connecting it all up. And I've got to figure out what does what, because some of the connections and some of the wiring, again, I don't know what it does. There's no explanation of it. There's no installation instructions for it, and there's no explanation of what each wire does. It just says, oh, connect the wire to this. Yeah, what wire? Because it's a bundle of wires. So it's a bundle of wires with groups of wires coming out that go to different things, and none of them are labeled. So it doesn't say, oh, this goes to the control mechanism, this one is the power for the fuel pump. There's none of that. So I got to figure all that out and wire the correct things together so that it all works. And that's kind of what I have to do tonight, I think, or maybe tomorrow morning when it's lighter. But I've got to kind of do that so I can figure all that out, because I really would like to have this heater done by the end of tomorrow so that it is in place, ready to go. Because this is probably the most complicated thing in this truck build because of all the wiring and because it's so unique. So I want to get it done so that I can just rush on and get all the other things knocked out too. But for now, as you can see, it's getting dark. I think I'm going to knock off here, and I think we need to take the dogs for a walk because Sophie's getting quite anxious because it's past her walking time. So I'm going to do that, and I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, everyone. It's another day to get things going. I don't know if you can tell by my breath, it's a little bit cold this morning. It's about 9 degrees, I think. And the sun, you can just look over here. You can see the sun's not even up yet. And we're trying to get a head start because I would really like to get the heater done today. Don't know if I will, because I have some things I have to paint and they just take time to dry. But my goal is to actually get it done today. But I'm going to get as much done as I can in terms of the heater, and then we'll see what else we can do. But yeah, early start. So I'm just giving these a spray. This is the heat resistant paint, or the high heat paint. Because these things are going to go next to the under the heater, next to the exhaust. I can do it, but I got to spray them and get them back inside so they can dry. Because it's super cool. This says to use between 60 and 95 degrees. Yeah, it's like single digits. It's like 9 degrees out this morning, so it might be up to 10 or 11 by now. No idea what it shows, so I gotta spray it and get it inside so it can dry really quick. It was staying spraying after I let go. It's so cold it kind of froze open. I gotta get these back inside. Okay, so I have spent a little bit of time this morning inside where it was warm and toasty doing the fiddly electrical bits. So for instance, on the water pump, I've put the ring connectors on it. I have also on the main electrical bundle here, I've cut off the end that they had, and I've put on my own connectors, so it's much easier to just literally, you lift the lever, you slip the wire in, you put the lever down, and it's done. So if I have to disconnect them, it's really easy to do, and it's a solid connection, so I don't have to worry about it. They had plugs, and you had to things in the back of the plugs. They're okay, but I don't trust them to be as robust, and so I wanted something a bit more easier and robust. So I got this. So everything should be wired properly at the moment. So now I'm going to kind of lay it out where the wire and stuff is going to go, so that it's not all wrapped up in a bundle. And so this wire harness is the main one, and so it's going to have to go, it plugs into the heater, and then part of it is the power, so it's going to go down to the power, and then the other part of it connects to this wiring harness, which then connects to the control panel, which is basically like a thermostat. And so I'm going to kind of lay those out. I'm going to figure out where I want things and run the wire for it, so it's all kind of in position. And then we'll look at, connecting it all up, and next step done. And then after that, I've still got to finish building this box. I've painted this morning, and I've actually just put a second coat on, so you wait for that to dry. They're going to have to glue this all and seal it into place. Hopefully that is pretty smooth. And then the other thing I'm hoping to get done this afternoon is mounting the fuel tank for the heater actually onto the back door. And I'm gonna have to drill holes in there for that, and all. So that's always a bit. You have to drill holes, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna do that. Hopefully get that done, get that mounted, so then I can actually complete the circuit, so I can run the fuel line out of that down underneath, heat shield where it needs to be, all over into position, and run the power for the fuel pump. Same thing, down the line to the fuel pump, over the here, trying to get everything as complete as we can, so that way when the power is here, when we have things set up in the jacket here, I can literally plug in the power for the heater and run that heater and warm this place up. That's the idea. But anyways, I've only got like 2 weeks to finish everything anyway, so I'm working on that at a very tight time schedule, and so far I think we're gonna make it. So I'll keep plugging away. Okay, so it's messy. There's this white gunk everywhere, but it's sealed. It's up there, sealed across. I've yet to put the face piece on, so I'll seal from here down and around to give it a complete seal. But so far, everything else is sealed. Again, it's really messy because I'm having to work. It's 4200, so it's a marine adhesive and sealant. I'm having to, basically I had to stick it on the end of my finger and then just shove it up into all those cracks and crevices. And so it was super, super messy, but it's sealed, and I'm going to have to get some more because I'll then use some and I'll seal around here. I got to seal through here too, but I'll seal around here so that'll be one solid sealed unit, and be ready to be used. So that'll be awesome. But in the meantime, I got to run another run to Home Depot. All right, we are having success. The heater is in. It's all sealed down. This has all been sealed up completely, put on. I've got to let it dry. Some of that sealing's got to dry for at least 24 hours, so you got to let it do that. I've installed the thermostat, the controller up here. And let me just take you outside and show you. You can just see on the inside here, I've pulled this this stainless steel panel off the bottom here so I can gain access in there. Let me show you what I did with that. There it is. I've installed the brackets to mount the fuel tank for the heater here. I was going to mount the fuel tank, actually I had it mounted, but the nuts I was using were nylon lock nuts, and they weren't working because they were too grippy, and there's not enough resistance on this, so I need to go with standard kind of nuts and use a lock washer. So I got to go get standard nuts. I don't have any. I looked, I didn't have any, so I have to get them, and then I'll be able to mount that. But in the meantime, the bracket's on there. It's all sealed up. You can see the silicone stuff oozing out the side, which is a good sign that it's good seal, and it's not going to leak any water on us. And then this here is the fuel tank that will go on it. So yeah, all progress. I was hoping to actually have that on and to have all the lines run underneath the vehicle and all that, but I'll have to do that tomorrow. But for now, yeah, I am happy with what we've got done. And I have one final thing to do today, and that is to find the new little plastic push pins that hold this onto the door. So I've got to, I think they're inside, so I can go and find them. I'll put them on, and then I'm going to call it a day, because it has actually gotten cold and cloudy. It was nice and bright and sunny earlier, and it was actually kind of pleasant out. But yeah, that's no longer the case. So I'm going to go and find the buttons to do this, and then we're going to get it all shut up, and I'm going to leave the heater in here for a while, so that the things that are curing have a chance to cure. And other than that, we'll see you in the morning for another day of fun and adventure. All right, well, believe it or not, we're finalizing the heater today. I think pretty much most of the inside stuff, there's a little bit of wiring to do, but most of the inside stuff is done. Is the outside I have to do. So before we even got the space cap put on, I ran all the major wiring and ducting that needed to go that goes underneath the truck. And I had it all done, including the hole we cut in the bed for the exhaust to go out. I had that all done before the space cap got on, because it's behind here. It's between the space cap and the bed wall. So there's a little gap there, and it's in that gap. So I've run that. So now what I got to do is I got to take where I've coiled all the excess. I got to take that and I have to now run that underneath over the muffler. I got a heat shield and all that. But run that underneath, around the back to where the fuel tank is behind, and connect it all up. So I need to do that this morning, but there's a storm coming in. Rain, most likely, possibly snow, but most likely rain. So there's that coming in. I have to work kind of against that clock. So I've got a couple of hours only to get this done before that comes in, and then I'm stuck kind of inside and all that. So I might, when that happens, I might come back in here and start doing the wiring, or finishing off the wiring. There's not really that much to do, but just to get that done. But in the meantime, I got to finish it outside. So that's where I'm going now. Okay, so I'm obviously under the truck, and what I've done is I've stashed all the wiring right up here. You can just make it out here. So this is all the wiring that I've stashed, and now I got to bring this out, and I got to figure out the path in which I'm going to run it. And yeah, there's a muffler and stuff involved, but I can see a pathway that I think I'll run it where it should be safe, and hopefully not melt and cause a fire and blow up on us. That's the idea. Okay, so it is all run. We've got the fuel tank on there, nice and secure. We have run the line. It comes underneath, joins with the other stuff there, and comes all the way through and around and back inside. And that's the power here. It's the power cable for the pump. So it's all connected. This is connected. Everything is connected. So yeah, all that's left for me to go get some fuel and plug it in. I've powered it up, and I'm going to be powering the heater off of the same circuit that runs the water pump, and then this is going to go into the one jackery that were reserved for plumbing. And yeah, we should see how it goes. Should be interesting. But yeah, so I'll have to go get some fuel and try it out. But other than that, it is done. A successful week.
Well, we're getting there, slowly but surely.
We are. We spent a lot of time this week, almost 4 days, getting the heater done. But it's gonna be worth it. have that heater and have it in there properly, so it's not, there's nothing dodgy about it. It's solid. It's going to withstand all the rigors of spouts and long tracks and all that. So yeah, we're happy with that. But
I can't stand the cold. You know how
Yeah.
well I tolerate
yeah,
that.
Kelly's got to be nice and warm, no matter where we are. So
Thanks for watching.
yeah,
We
thanks for
appreciate
watching.
it.
We do appreciate it, and
We'll be on the road again
we'll
soon.
be on the road again soon. And we appreciate those of you who are subscribed, and those of you who are not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps us out, and we appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you out there.
See you out there.